Customer experience, the experience begins the moment you pull in the driveway, and I'm going to pound on you here a little bit too. I tell people we are in the green industry. Would you agree? Being in the green industry doesn't mean that you have to hug trees or love the spotted owl. I tell people we are in an industry that makes its money off of having a good environment, a green environment, things that are neat and well kept. Think about your dealership. If I were to pull into your dealership in June during your season and I pulled into the driveway, what would I see as I pulled in? Weeds, stuff not mowed, maybe, not all of you. But I tell people again, but it's that first thing when I pull in there that sets the tone for my experience. If I see this big, beautiful sign up there, but I pull into a place that's poorly kept, the paint's coming off, if you've got awnings, an awning is ripped, or it was ripped, but now it has some nice silver duct tape on it to keep it in place because we just haven't had the time to fix it, that starts setting the tone for me of the kind of experience I'm going to have in your store. Would you agree? So I tell people again that's where it starts at. It starts on the outside of the building. I tell people again, I read tons of books, and I always pick up a book that I may ultimately buy based upon the cover of the book and the title. Because I haven't read the book yet, but it's that first piece that catches my interest that makes me maybe have that desire to go ahead and at least walk into it, read the first few pages, and see if it's going to be a book that I'm going to enjoy spending $12 or $15 on. That's what I do. Same thing with your store. Your store is that book cover. It's the front cover, and as people walk into it, it's going to set the tone on how they feel about your dealership. I tell my guys in shops, we don't need to test string trimmers in the back. Take them around and test them on the front of the building. We got weeds growing up. We got things going up out there. We should have flowers out there. We should have greenery out there. I don't care if you say, well, I don't have any place to put it. Buy pots and put them out there. I want people to walk into my dealership because the people that are buying this equipment from you like to do yard work. Would you agree? Most of them have a fascination. They love to do it. If they didn't like to do it, they would hire guys like my son who's a commercial cutter to come in and do it. They don't care. The people that buy the equipment have a passion to be outside in this environment. That's what they're looking for. We should be the showcase. Our building should show them, if they buy the equipment, what they have the ability to create on their own with our equipment. That's a part of what you're doing there. It goes with landscaping. It goes with signage. Tulsa, New Holland's one of my clients down there. You know, they're a big New Holland dealer, but they got this huge Cub sign out there. They sell a ton of Cub equipment out there, a ton of Cub equipment. You guys sell a ton of Cub equipment, right? You do, a ton of it. And they got the fastest technician in the world down there with Ryan that works on Cub equipment. He's about 148% efficient. So, I mean, this guy screams through it. But it goes back again. But you go into Tulsa, New Holland down there, and Mike, and this is Mike's son over there, but it's well kept, it's organized, you see it. And they're a big tractor dealer, right? So that's a little bit of the challenge sometimes when you're a tractor dealer, because you got this big equipment out there, you know, balers and big tractors and stuff, and then you got this smaller stuff sitting there. But they've done such a good job in their showroom of really defining the Cub part of it. When you walk in there, you know, a lot of people that are in outdoor power, they're intimidated when they get around big tractors. You got the same problem a little bit in yours with your compacts and stuff, but they've got it so well designed in there. When you walk in, you know you're in a Cub spot. It's the way it's set up in there. So they do it with their landscaping, their signage, and then their building exterior. And he keeps it impeccable out there. It's clean, it's organized, and it's a big dealership. But you go in there, and you know this guy's got his game on, and they play at a high level. So it comes with that first experience there. Then it goes as we move into our store. So I tell people it starts on the outside, and then as we move into our store, there's basically three things. When I was working with Scott over there, he had all of his blueprints out and stuff like this, and he wanted me to help him lay out his showroom and his shop and his parts department. As we were talking about the showroom, he goes, well, I think I want to do this and this and this. And I said, okay, it's three basics of showrooms: guide, encourage, engage. So when you look at your showroom, there's three things you always have to do. The first thing, it starts off with guiding people. I've got to guide people places, right? The next thing I got to do is make sure that my showroom is encouraging you to do what? Ask questions, talk to me, those things like this. And then something about my showroom has to get the people ultimately engaged in the product, because once people start touching, getting on it, what starts happening to the selling process? When people start touching a mower, what are they starting to do? You go back to the car industry. When I'm out there and I'm talking to a car salesperson and he's watching customers in the car lot out there, when he sees a customer take a car and start running his hand on the car like this, running it across, touching it, what is that customer doing? They're marking that car in a little different way than maybe an animal would mark it, but they're marking it, right? Because once a person starts physically touching a product, they want to do what to it? They want to buy it. And I tell people again, that's the engagement process. We've got to create an environment that's conducive to people to touch it. They may not get on it, but if they're touching it, if they got the lap bars in their hand, they're moving them, right? They're touching the deck, they're buying it at that point. Your selling process has started, and guess who didn't have to get involved in it yet? You didn't have to. The system, your inside of your store is doing exactly what it should be doing, which is in selling, because ultimately what we want to do is create security. I tell people retailing is all about making a customer walk into the store and feel secure that their needs are going to be met. Do we want security? Does everybody in here want security? Absolutely. You're looking for that. We desire to be secure. Everything about us is driven to have a sense of security. Why do we want security? Why is security so important to us in our lives? Well, because we had it once and we lost it. At one time in our life, we were absolutely, totally secure. Everything that we needed was given to us. Anybody remember when it was? It's for approximately 9 months. Does that help narrow it down for any of you at all? For 9 months of your life, when you were in your mother's womb, did you have a pretty good retail experience? I mean, think about your mother in the womb. What was your life like? It was perfect. You were totally, absolutely, totally secure. You wanted for nothing, right? You were in an apartment that was never too hot or too cold. Temperature was always perfect, right? You didn't have to buy food. You were plugged into a refrigerator, right? You didn't owe anybody any money yet. Had your own pool. Things were good. You're hanging out, going, man, life is good. It doesn't get any better than this. I am absolutely, totally what? Secure. You got bigger. You didn't have to get a construction permit or a building permit. The apartment just grew with you. But unfortunately for you, about 9 months into the deal, you get an eviction notice. You don't know who it is, but somebody's telling you it's time to leave. And all of a sudden, as you're being pushed out of the apartment, your sense of security starts to go away. As you get closer and closer to the door, you start hearing voices, people that you've never heard before. You start hearing the voice of a woman, who you're going to later learn to call mom, say to the voice of a man you're going to later call dad, something like this. If you ever touch me again, I'll kill you. Something like that. Some of you turned around. You were called breach. Unfortunately for you, the evictor was stronger. The next thing you know, you're out the door. And in the hands of someone you've never met before, a power equipment dealer, right? They're holding you there. Your sense of security is quickly going away. They cut the cord, which forever severs that security, pop you on the backside and say, hang in there. And for the rest of your life, you're walking around with an invisible umbilical cord going, you look like mom, you look like mom. All every customer that wants when they walk in your dealership is they want to reconnect to who? Mom. Do moms have a relationship with kids that nobody else has? Absolutely they do. That's what I tell my dealers, we've got to be mom. When somebody walks into our dealership, I've got to have them walk into the dealership and I've got to have them go, I'm home. I'm home. And I can walk in here and I won't be accosted. I can walk in here, I won't be made to feel stupid. I can walk in here, I can ask questions and people won't think I'm dumb. I can walk in here, I am in a what kind of environment? A secure environment. And that's what's got to happen in your dealership, right? We have to create an environment where people can walk into it, right? And the moment they walk in, everything that they need is there for them in the way that they need to do it. That's a part of what we have to do. And you do that with how you lay your store out. We guide, we encourage, we engage. We guide with signage. How many people flew into the Orlando airport when you came in? How many people, when you got off the plane, you got on the little tram, you got over to the main terminal, and you noticed there's an A and B terminal, right? Okay? And how many people up there saw a sign that says, rental cars, somewhere here, good luck? No, what did they have? Grand transportation, baggage. What was there when you got off of that? Even when you got off the plane, there were signs as soon as you got out in the aisle out there directing you to the what? To the train to get over to the main terminal. Signs, 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 signs. Everywhere there are signs because they don't want you lost. Think about your dealership again. You have a sign, parts department, service department, but what else do you have there? Do you have any things hanging down that says 0 turns? Do you have any things over here that show people, that guide people, that direct people? That's a part of what we have to do. So I tell people again, signage is the first part of guiding people, directing people. It's the map in your store. And most of you, again, the signs aren't easy to see. They're not lit well. And as you think about even guiding, lighting your stores more. Because that's, again, one of the things that I see in a lot of stores are not well lit. Because most people don't know how you should light your store. I tell people it's easy. It needs to be 700 looms, same as your shop. You know what 700 looms is? Look at a wall display by any of your manufacturers and look at the lighting on that wall display. They're lit at about 650 to 700 looms. And if you look in your store and that display looks like it's glaring out at you, your store's not lit enough. That's lighting on that display should be visible, but it shouldn't pop at you. It should be a part of your store. And I tell people, you go into your store, you look at a wall display that is lit with a panel on it. Those are lit at about 650 to 700 looms. If that sticks out to you when you're in your store, the rest of your store is not lit well. And you need to add more lighting to your store, because what do people feel more comfortable in, darkness or light? The lighter it is, what will happen? The longer they will stay. You go into any of your Walmarts, your Targets, and things like this, and what do you see? Bright, shiny white floors with lots of what? Why do they do that? Why do they spend all the extra money on light? Because they know it makes them more what? The only reason Walmart does anything in life is if it makes them what? Money. And I tell people again, we can use that as a tool to do that with. The next thing again is our displays, and our displays are designed to get people, encourage them and get them excited about what we do. And I'm